Research says resilience and grit determine quality of life in a crisis. But what is resilience? Who are the ordinary people doing extraordinary things while staying healthy and safe during COVID? How do they persevere with passion in the middle of a public health crisis? Join us as they share their stories and show us everything.
One Georgetown professor once said, "Creativity is his vaccine." It's Jimmy G kicking off another episode of Show Us Everything along with my best friend, Kyle. What's up,
That's right,
man?
baby. Yeah, no, as an artist myself, I can attest to the fact that being creative, being inspired, having a goal, having something to push forward really keeps you grounded in super uncertain times. So we got a great one. You interviewed me at the studio, right?
Yeah, sure is a fun episode. Two really cool interviews. One, I interviewed Kyle right here because not many people know, he is a fantastic guitar player. He's a better guitar player than he is a TV show host.
Oh, God, that's not hard to beat, but don't worry about that. And then I interviewed Mark Weiss, a fantastic photographer. He's got his own books. He's got all kinds of stuff to showcase. He has artifacts from all kinds of famous rock and rollers.
The dude partied with Motley Crue, so you know this is going to be a good episode.
It's good stuff. You're going to enjoy it. It's really fun and creative. It's inspiring. You're going to hear great music, see some cool stuff, dig into some history. So check it out. You'll enjoy it on Show Us Everything.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Great to be here.
Thanks for coming.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some great artwork here.
Here we are. Welcome to the Monmouth Museum in
That's
Lincroft.
Right.
The hidden gem.
The hidden gem.
We got to let people know about this.
Right, we're going to learn all about it. We're going to learn how the community can get involved, and we're going to spread the word about you and your story and all the cool stuff you've been doing during this pandemic. So
cool. Let me show you around, man.
Let's do it. All right, guys. I'm with the very cool and talented Mark Weiss. We're at the Monmouth Museum. We're surrounded by all this beautiful artwork. So these are all taken by you, right?
Yep, they're mine. They're my babies.
So why don't you tell us how you got into this? Because this is a pretty interesting line of work. I mean, all these performers, all the stories you must have to tell.
Right.
Get into it.
Well, it started by mowing lawns.
Right.
I was 12 years old, Lake Ridge, Matawan, New Jersey, and I was mowing lawns for $5 a cut.
Okay.
And then I saw this lawn that was really high. And usually that guy usually cuts it himself, but he didn't for a few weeks. So I knocked on his door and I said, "Do you need a lawn cut?" I thought his lawnmower's broken or something. So he goes, "I cut it myself." The guy said to me, and I said, "Well, it doesn't look that way." And so he giggled and he's like, "I was a smart ass." Mm-hmm. And then he said, "I'll tell you what." And he came back with this camera that's actually hanging in the museum. We'll show you later.
Cool.
On my mannequin. Mm-hmm. And it's this Bell & Howell Cannon. And he said, "I'll give you this if you mow my lawn for the season." And then I started taking pictures of my dog and my brother. And a year later, I started going to concerts. Mm-hmm. And then I stuck my camera into the concerts. And then it kind of took off. And then my career began.
That's amazing. So you're going to these concerts. Are you getting a ticket and you're just sneaking the camera in? Are you trying to get backstage and get the exclusive shot? Get into a little
I wasn't like a paparazzi or anything like that. I was just like a concert goer. I was a fan. Then Kiss played like 3 nights in '77.
Love them.
Went the first night, and then I stayed up all night, and then I got the pictures developed, and then for $1 a piece, I sold them to the next night. Mm-hmm. And then I got arrested selling bootleg pictures. But then when the Kiss busted me, I'm like, all right, now what am I going to do?
Wow.
So what did I do? I went back to my house and kind of read my Circus magazine and dreamed about being a rock photographer. It's the summer of '78, and I stuck my camera into Aerosmith, Ted Nugent, Journey.
Cool.
And I had some really great photos, and they needed photos. The secretary called me up and said, "Do you have any pictures of Aerosmith?" And I said, "Yeah, I just got some great shots."
Right.
Brought them in, left them there. 2 months go by. Beatles were on the cover, October '78 issue of Circus, and it was the centerfold, the biggest picture in the magazine,
And it was yours.
along with all these other photographers that I looked up to, Lynn Goldsmith, Bob Gruen, Mick Rock, all these.
Wow.
And then that was it. And I turned the page, and there was a full page of Ted Nugent. And then the ball started rolling.
That's amazing,
I ended up being their photographer, and then within less than a year, I was shooting Van Halen for them as an assignment.
One of my favorite bands, and one of the reasons why I play guitar, which segues perfectly into, we're in a time where a lot of people are down, right? And there are a lot of studies that show that creativity and having that drive kind of fuels you to be happier, healthier, just keeps you on the ball, right? And so I guess my question is, seeing all this amazing stuff, seeing what you're doing, there's not really concerts right now, right? So You know, what have you been doing to kind of
Yeah.
improvise and keep yourself busy and like keep yourself driven?
Right. See, back in the 80s, I never had a portfolio. I was so busy touring with all these bands, you know, Rat, Ozzy, Guns N' Roses, Bon Jovi, you name
cool.
it, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm busy going on tour to tour, you know, traveling on their buses, having fun, you know, the whole thing. So, you know, all these accolades just started happening, and it's still happening. It's just snowballing. You guys being here, helping me spread the word of the Monmouth Museum. I mean, I'm on the board now at the Monmouth Museum.
Right.
I never expected that.
Right.
Stephen Van Zandt, his Teach Rock program is like amazing. And it's all connected, so we're all helping each other. And we all want to get them to the Monmouth Museum. Rock photography is important, but there's other photographers I want to bring here.
I admire you, man. You work with all my heroes, and like, I mean, Eddie, I was saying before, he's like the reason I got into guitar. So to have you hang out with him and to be here, it's really fantastic. But speaking of the book, Decade That Rocked, can we see some
Sure.
some pages? Some of the stuff
Here
you
it
like?
is. Now check it out.
We got GNR on the cover, of course. I love how Axel's giving the finger. Very
There's a funny story about
actually.
the finger shot.
okay.
So the first time I shot them, it was in 1986. They were just a nobody band. The buzz was out, and I did a photo shoot for a magazine, and he didn't really want his photograph taken. He had their own photographer. So during the whole shoot, Axel's giving me the finger like that. You know, it's like you know, just
subtly
like that.
below the belt, yeah.
And it's funny. So that was my first shoot, and this is the last shoot with Guns N' Roses with the finger. So it just
That's awesome,
I didn't even
man.
notice it until later. I put them all together. But
Where can we find this book? Everywhere?
You can find this book at well, you can get it on my site, thedecadethatrocked.com.
Awesome.
I also include postcards, and I have little centerfold things that I I throw some prints in, different bundles. But you can get it on Amazon.
Cool.
Simon & Schuster is distributing it, so Barnes & Noble.
Wonderful.
And it's got a French edition, a Spanish edition.
Wow.
And whoever else, we're just getting the ball started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Make sure you get the book. You have to. You got it. It's a great book. It's really cool.
I have a setup where I did the slippery and wet shot. I have a little thing where it's like I have the artifacts, I have the mannequin with the shirt. I also have my darkroom, my original darkroom recreated. So there's a lot to show you. Let's go
do
check it out.
Thank you,
All right,
brother.
come on.
Awesome.
Come on.
So we're looking at the artwork of Jersey Shore rock legend John Bon Jovi. We have this artwork here, which didn't get put on the cover, right?
Right.
And then this amazing artwork, which is obviously famous and iconic, and everybody knows it. So tell us the story behind these two.
Originally, it was supposed to be the girl with the large breasts.
Yeah, of
with
course.
cut up provocatively. The record companies were getting a little like, is this going to be racy or you
Right.
know? So they knew they had a hit record. They didn't want to jeopardize it because of the cover art. So they kind of canned it and had to come up with an idea. We were at the final moment, they already printed like 500,000 of these. And then John just came up to my studio. He said, Mark, get a hefty bag, a black hefty bag, get a spray bottle, and that's it. Come up, I'll be there. I didn't know what he was going to do. He just came up. I set it up just the way it is here. And he just wrote slippery when wet one time. I took a Polaroid. He didn't even want to look at the Polaroid. He's like, just send that to the record company. We're done.
Talk about creativity in the ninth hour, right? Like making it work.
And as we move down here, I'll show you my darkroom.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check it out.
Yeah, come on.
My question to you is, what's up with the Weiss-Guy? Where'd you get that from?
Oh, the Weiss-Guy. A fan gave this to me,
Weiss-Guy.
actually. On the road with Motley Crue, 1984. I was actually out with Ozzy, and then the Motley guys asked if I wanted to travel with them. So I'm like, yeah, they're fun. Hanging out, we're watching movies, we're all drunk and having fun. And the Three Stooges is going on. And it's, one of Larry goes, hey, Weiss-Guy.
Weiss-Guy.
So he called me Weiss-Guy. And then when I went back to do the spread in Faces magazine, I put photos by Mark Weiss-Guy Weiss, and then it stuck.
That's it. That's brilliant, dude. I think
Thanks,
that's hilarious.
Nick Mars.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Yeah, so these are just my new tools. So this was my darkroom. That's in the back of my parents' garage.
Okay.
I promised my dad that I'd go to college if he built me a darkroom in the back of my garage, because I was using my parents' bathroom at the time. I wanted there to be some kind of photography exhibition, starting with mine, but going back in time to have cameras evolved over the years. I feel like it's interesting to the kids, and I'm going to have them so they're hands-on. You can get a lot of them at flea markets, and
Cool.
So I want to have like a little exhibition of photography, and then have other photographers on exhibit up here, and just have a whole learning experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
you know, you want to build this community, you want to help out, and like, what are other ways the community can help, or like things that you want people to know about what's going on here, and like about what you're going to be growing and like doing? Because we want to spread the word.
So I want to create, it's a big enough space that you know, they can actually congregate and meet each other, and whether they end up being best friends for the rest of their life, or just being in a band and writing a song together, and just a place to be. And that's really where my passion is. That's what I really want to do in this area right here.
That's awesome. No, that's great. Good.
So spread the word.
Why don't you tell us the story about you, Zakk Wylde, Sebastian, and the wedding? What's up with that?
The Molly Pitcher, Red Bank, not too far from here. 1987, I got married to Suzanne.
Nice.
And it was kind of like a rock and roll wedding. I invited a lot of people, and the last subjects that I shot was Madam X. And I told my secretary, I said, you know what, invite that band. They were pretty crazy. We hung out for a week in Phoenix, and you know, invite them. So I didn't think they were going to come, but they came. They drove from Detroit.
Wow.
And they all came. We all partied for like a week, you know, pre-wedding, after wedding.
Wow.
And we became friends. And so that's where Sebastian came. Zakk was a guest. I met him maybe 4 months earlier too. Introduced him to Ozzy, and he was in Ozzy at that point. He didn't record anything, but he was in. So he was a guest too. And at the end, they went up and jammed. They did Led Zeppelin Rock and Roll, which the video I just put up in RollingStoneMag.com maybe a month ago for the first time in 30-something years.
You got to check that out. It's important.
And also Guitar World, I gave them another video of them playing with Kevin DuBrow from Quiet Riot.
Yep, sure.
Kevin DuBrow was a good friend of mine. He came. They dragged him on stage, and then so Sebastian during the wedding was like talking to people and saying hi, and he kept belting out his vocals, and he was. I remember him going up to John Bon Jovi's parents because they were guests, and next thing you know, my best man at my wedding, Dave Feld, was friends with Snake, and they just put it all together. And next thing you know, they're flying him in and hanging out at Mingles, and the rest is history on that.
All together.
So it's like, you know, rock and roll history.
That's awesome.
And he ended up living in not too far from here, Swimming River Road.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
No, there's so many legends in Jersey as we stand next
Bruce,
to Bruce
right,
and John, and all those amazing guys. Let's walk over here too, because you have so many other great pictures. Eddie, Mick Jagger, you got Slash.
Right.
Let me ask you
Ace,
something, like, you know, as someone who's creative and someone who has a hobby and something to go to, me as well, when I'm feeling stressed or whatever, like I can go to production, I can play, you know, an instrument. What do you have to say to people who are maybe struggling right now, who maybe don't have an outlet and are looking for a way to feel better, something to inspire them? Like, what do you have to say to those people? What advice could you give?
I mean, everyone has to have a passion, you know, unless they're really just 9 to 5 and that they don't have any ideas. But everyone I feel is an entrepreneur in the making. They just got to like pull their ideas. Everyone wakes up in the morning, goes in the shower, and thinks about how they can be a millionaire.
Yeah, sure.
I still do it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have my Lamborghini yet, but I plan to. You
One
know
day.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm still coming up with those ideas.
Yeah.
So that Lamborghini is my motivation.
That's awesome.
Of keep coming up with ideas. But you know what? I'm going to keep coming up with ideas. I didn't do bad for myself. I'm meeting a lot of people, a lot of interesting people, and the journey continues.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
And that's what, follow your passion.
No, you just make do, right? When life gives you lemons, right? You just have to improvise, and it's great to have art. It's great to have something, right, to drive you. It just makes you feel good, and it just, it keeps you focused.
Listen,
you know?
especially now, there's no excuse. You know, there's no excuse to call someone on the phone. And I mean, it's okay to text, you know, get the ball rolling, but my advice, get on the phone, old school it.
Yeah, reach
and
out
talk
to
to
people.
someone and talk to them, let them get to know you, let them hear your voice.
It's awesome, man.
You know, FaceTime them, you know, that's what you got to do.
And for everyone too, just one last time, throw out some of the links, right? The Decade That Rocked, your book, you can get that Amazon, you said, on its own website. I mean, you can check out the Monmouth Museum,
Listen,
so many ways.
Everything is thedecadethatrocked.com. It's my landing page to see what I'm doing. It has interviews, it has my social media, it has links to this and to that, interviews I've done. That's where to go,
Epic.
The Decade That Rocked.
Awesome. The legendary Mark Weiss, thank you so much for having us here. This is so wonderful. The show is Show Us Everything, and you just showed us a lot of awesome art. So my name is Kyle Ward. Thanks for watching, and have a great one. So we just came from Mark's studio, the Monmouth Museum. We looked at all kinds of different rock artifacts, beautiful photographs. He told us some amazing stories of his adventures, right? We had a good time.
Absolutely, Kyle, and it was a pleasure interviewing you. I think, you know, your talent is up there with some of the best around the Jersey Shore. And
Thank you.
Really was a pleasure getting to know you more, not only as a friend, but on the music side of things.
That's right. No, it's great. Look, this is all about people coming together, sharing experiences, inspiring each other, keeping motivated, and this is Show Us Everything. So
yeah, it really is ordinary people doing extraordinary things during a tough situation, which is COVID-19. So Show Us Everything, wrapping up episode number 3. Always a pleasure.